Okay, once again, another Nostalgia Critic video for me to react to, and it's another Nostalgia Critic video centering on Superman, and that being the 1978 Superman film, part of Superman month. Yes, so finally, I'm reacting to one of these. The first one I did, that came out earlier today, for those of you that have or have not seen it, and for those of you that have not seen it, go watch that before this. Yeah, Nostalgia Critic's review on Superman Returns was not part of Superman month, but I decided to, do that one first, and here's the thing, if I have or if I have not established this before, I like to react to, not just Nostalgia Critic videos, but any video where when they've been uploaded and so on. So in this case, the Nostalgia Critic's review of Superman Returns came out a couple of years before, his review of the first Superman film. So there you go. But yeah, so with that out of the way, the first Superman film, again, from 1978, or as it's also called, Superman the Movie. Which, yeah, and you know what? As of now, because James Gunn's Superman film is no longer called Superman Legacy, it's just going to be called Superman. Ever since the first Superman film and the first Batman film, and yes, the Batman film from the 1960s, technically, yeah, it is the first, Batman theatrical film. I'm just saying, the one from 1989, that, and from 1978, Superman, both of them were just called Superman and Batman. But as of now, and rightfully so, because every Superman/Batman film always has something else in the title. Because, say, Batman Returns, Superman 2, Batman Begins. I think you get my point. So, just having them be called, say, Batman and Superman, which one are we talking about? The one from 1989? And just say, Hellboy, because the first Hellboy film that came out in 2004 just being called Hellboy, but then fast forward, the Hellboy film that came out in 2019 was just called Hellboy. You see what I mean? So the 2019 Hellboy film should have had something else in the title, So anyways, but yeah. I also would like to clarify, I have seen the first Superman film. I think I probably have only seen it maybe just once or twice, but I think, yeah, I remember watching the whole film, but it has been quite a while since I've watched, the full film of, the first Superman film. Superman 2... I have seen that a couple of times. I think Superman 2 would probably have to be my favorite of, the first four Superman films with Christopher Reeve as Superman. I've mostly had seen the Richard Donner cut. I probably did see the theatrical release of Superman 2 under Richard Lester, but yeah, it has been quite a while since I've seen that. And I think, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 is very mixed, but, more on that when I react to Nostalgia Critic's review of Superman 2, so, but yeah. And by the way, one more thing, because when Superman month began, and the same day that the Nostalgia Critic's review of the first Superman film came out, there was a Q&A live stream that happened, with Doug Walker, Channel Awesome. It happened on Twitch, but they also streamed it on YouTube. It was part 2. And I actually did tune in to the Q&A stream on YouTube. I had it playing on my TV, and, Yeah, it was really cool. And, uh, one of the members of Channel Awesome / Nostalgia Critic, Heather, being the monitor and responding to the questions, and, Doug, of course, would answer the questions. And obviously, because this was that they were answering questions, obviously, on Twitch. But, for those that were commenting with them, streaming this on YouTube, yeah, because I'm not even sure, like, I was looking to see, because those that were submitting their questions, and with, paying and such, I don't think they were answered. I don't know. I myself, like, I put in a comment in the live chat, because and if Doug would have answered my question, I don't know, because I just asked him what he thought on the name change of James Gunn's Superman film. I knew most likely that would be responded to, but it was still fun to do, And because I mentioned Hellboy, it was nice to see, and coincidentally, I was thinking of this, like, what if someone mentions Hellboy to Doug during the Q&A live stream? And sure enough, someone did mention Hellboy, and I think Doug, I think from what I can tell, what he said, the best I can remember when watching the Q&A live stream, he'll probably do it at some point. And hey, I'm down to see Doug Walker as the Nostalgia Critic talk about the Hellboy films, and, as you're watching this, he probably did them by now, and that's good to see. So, but enough said. It's going to be interesting to see what the Nostalgia Critic has to say on the first Superman film. I have no doubt that he'll have some positive things to say. And, not to mention, the first Superman film, it made film history. I think, I remember reading this, that one of the presidents of the United States, Jimmy Carter, yeah, because he went to see Superman, and he was impressed with it. He thought it was good. Yeah. And, that quote that, that's said about the movie, you will believe a man can fly, however it's said. I'm sure you know that quote. So anyways, all right, but enough said. Let's go ahead and get this Nostalgia Critic video started. The first Nostalgia Critic video for Superman Month, his review on Superman, the movie, from 1978. And, yeah, because and very quickly, because is it official that it's called Superman the movie? I'd like to know. If you guys know, let me know in the comments section. But anyways, so without further ado, let's begin. In 3, 2, 1, play.
This episode brought to you by Robinhood. Get the most for your retirement. Hey folks, we're starting YouTube memberships. If you want access to emojis, polls, behind-the-scene videos, and other perks, check out and see if you want to become a member. And we got some Midwest cons coming up. Hope to see you there.
And that'd be nice.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
I swear that never happens.
More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But he can also fly, so it's a tad less impressive when you know that.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane! Well, I'm not looking up for any of those things.
It's Super Month. Yes, it's Super Month. A gimmicky attempt for a YouTube channel to drive up viewership. Super Month. Standing uncomfortably still, making everyone feel awkward.
The cape.
Super Month. Critiquing what's left of the Superman movies so he can pad out another compilation video. Super Month. Who, disguised as Nostalgia Critic, mild-mannered loser in desperate need of getting laid, fights a never-ending battle to spew.
He's not a
because
loser.
It's the American way.
Let's go back to the beginning of superhero movies. Not that way. While many audiences find themselves growing tired of superhero flicks, there was a time when they weren't even a thing. Sure, there were shows and serials, but a superhero film, at least a serious superhero film, wasn't really a thing until Superman. And even then, superhero flicks didn't really become a genre until Batman over 20 years later. And even then, it kind of took a long time to become a regular thing. Superman really was the OG cinematic superhero. And while I've covered several of the Superman movies in the past, I never have talked about the ones that started it all. So, all throughout March, I'm gonna go over the cinematic Superman movies I haven't covered. Superman 1, 2, and 3, and then finish it off with a special look at the Snyder Cut, which combined might actually be as long as Superman 1, 2, and 3.
Oh boy.
So let's begin Super Month.
Super Month. Wearing clothes so tight you wonder if he rolled up a pair of socks too.
We're good. Let's start with the 1978 classic, Superman the Movie.
I wonder how long his review of the Snyder Cut's gonna be.
Words can't explain how excited but also nervous the film industry was about this flick. Remember, superhero films weren't a thing yet, so there was a big push to make this film a spectacle if, say, they missed the window of superheroes' popularity. The biggest stars were named first, even if they had less screen time than the lead. Little footage of Superman was shown in case people couldn't take him in that outfit seriously. And they pushed that the effects were so good, you will believe a man can fly.
Yeah, okay, that's how
that
it's
was the tagline in all the ads. And the ironic thing is, Superman did fly, just not in the way they thought.
Yeah.
People loved the movie, not because of the flying effects.
In what way did they think?
Fine for the time, but because it captured the essence of this
True.
American icon so well, it reminded audiences why superheroes are so important and will never truly go away. It combined both the playful campiness, but also epic sides of the character that many still credited as the original blueprint for most superhero films that followed, including things that geeks like us love to nitpick, but we'll get to that in a bit. The
Yeah.
film is still iconic all these years later, and we're gonna check out why. So let's start off Super Month.
Super Month. If he did roll up a pair of socks, why didn't he find a bigger size to tuck in his...
We're good! Let's take a look at Superman the movie.
Here we go.
The film sets the tone with an old-school intro, making it clear it's gonna harken back to the golden age of comic books, and not be filled with a bunch of dated 70s references.
Yeah.
Well, not many.
Hey, Jim! Whoa! Excuse me. That's a bad outfit.
All that's missing is a hat.
The getup.
At the same time, the titles are like, hell with that noise, here's the real shit you're waiting for.
Oh yeah.
Yet for 1978, these are some damn impressive intro effects. The titles have you saying, alright, now I'm okay looking at nothing but text for 2 minutes. And as I'm sure most people have pointed out, John Williams' amazing music is one of the few themes that actually sings its title without any lyrics.
You hear it. You do, too. It's not just me.
We're introduced to the planet Krypton.
What was that from?
Some like to say Krypton.
The planet Krypton. Planet Krypton.
I tell you,
It's Krypton.
It sounds like they're saying it while eating something bad. Planet Krypton.
Yeah.
It's from the
Now
Krypton
that you say
accent
it.
Marlon Brando has playing Jor-El, which I can only describe as British Canadian.
Specific charges.
I think this was one of my first introductions to Marlon Brando, before The Godfather.
Pronounce judgment on those accused.
Look, in case people in Slinkies, I'm not going to question their odd ways. They're sending
Not
out street
Slinkies.
criminals led by General Zod, played by Terrence Stamp, for trying to overthrow their government.
Chief architect of
Terrence
this
Stamp.
intended revolution and author of this insidious plot.
All he said was find more votes.
On the woman Ursa, whose perversions and unreasoning hatred of all mankind have threatened even the children of the planet Krypton.
I still don't know what that means, and I'm still afraid to ask what that means.
You will bow down before me!
Boo you! And one day!
Your ass!
Your ass?
Your ass!
See, this is what you get with that Krypton accent.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Vanished into a kind of
But that's not what it
also
is.
kind of cool effect. But subject change, planet exploding.
And I tell you,
If it is or
we must
isn't,
evacuate this planet immediately.
I tell you, Krypton is simply shifting its orbit.
One way to know is the
Krypton
subtitles.
warming just isn't a thing. Stop trying to get upvotes on your socials. With the council forbidding him to tell anyone else, Jor-El uses what little he has to get his baby boy off the planet.
Have you finished?
Nearly.
What if we wrap them in color? You know that's outlawed. Only Pillsbury Doughboy glow-in-the-dark tinfoil is allowed. In fact,
Good
strange
one.
illusion, these suits actually did glow on camera, but not in real life. Which is good. I think this kid would have had nightmares about radioactive sperm people if they did.
You'll be odd, different.
He'll be fast.
That is cool how they glow, you know, on camera.
Honestly, I'm hoping he doesn't enslave them all.
You will make my strength your own. See my life through your eyes.
For For as brief as Brando scenes are, he does make them count. You really feel the weight of this guy coming to grips with the end of the world, yet having some semblance of hope for his own son, which he now has to say goodbye to. It's a lot of emotions to play, but he really does nail it with a lot of calm, but also heartbreaking dignity.
This is all I can send.
He's Marlon Brando, you know?
Come out.
He needs to be changed. No time, send him out.
Potty trained, is that what he said?
They launch him in the crystal water chestnut, and for not even 20 minutes, this intro has all the makings of a Wagnerian climax. This feels appropriately large and epic because we've had time to see and feel the relationships built on this planet. I mean, obviously,
The red
these are
glow.
technobabble and pterodactyls and clinical Nolan writing, and yeah, okay, I'll play nice. I still say Krypton is shifting its orbit. Carell is sent to Earth with somehow all his bodily necessities taken care of, as Jarrell passes on basic information for him to survive on Earth.
Which Einstein called his theory of relativity, embedded in the crystals before you.
Remember, 9/11 was an inside job. Taylor Swift runs the White House, and the moon landing was faked. By us.
Oh, Doug.
The pod crash lands near a couple called the Kents, and let's hope this kid has a real good sense of humor as an adult. And the couple try to figure out what's to be done with him.
Who that boy's proper family is.
He hasn't
I mean, he's a
got
little
any.
kid,
Not
so...
around here anyway.
Martha, are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
We have dinner tonight, for us and the family. But they figure out that meat might be a little rough, so they decide to keep the child and tell no one of his origins or his powers. He grows up into a teen named Clark with a kind of distracting Chris Reeve voice, but honestly, you do get used to it pretty fast, and it does surprisingly blend pretty well.
It is Christopher Reeve's voice. Dubbing.
What are you talking about? I just finished stacking all that. This running effect can
Nice.
be a little silly, but again, for 1978, it's pretty damn impressive. And it is cool that this is the original Superman and Lois Lane. Though it is a little odd that that's
cool.
supposed to be Lois Lane, as the extended cut shows.
Lois Lane, you have a writer's gift
Well-
for invention.
I'm glad they cut this as, one, there does not look like there's that much of an age difference between them, and two, if there was, she would be older.
How did you get here so fast?
I ran. Clark finds it rough, though, not being able to tell anyone.
I understand why they cut it.
And there's one thing I do know, son.
It is cool, but at the
you
same
are
time, you
here
know.
For a reason. It's not to score touchdowns.
We gotta play it cool. Lay low, let everyone think you're normal, and then when the time is right, hold the White House hostage. We've talked about this. In a really well done death scene, the father falls to his knees and gives one hell of a quivering lip.
Oh no.
Yes.
That guy's gonna die. And Clark is literally in the dark about it until it's too late. It's a very eerie and heartbreaking moment.
They slowly figure out... Yeah,
And
because...
look, I know I
so
said I lay
good.
off Man of Steel, and I meant it, but even outside that, I think most of us can agree there's a little too much over-explaining in superhero films now. Which a part of me gets is for a while they were seen as more kid stuff, and now people see the value in them, but for all the sitting down and talking paragraphs upon paragraphs about how epic their emotions are, I appreciate the simple yet direct emotion of this line.
All those powers. And I couldn't even save him.
That is this film's with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, piss off. So much of what Superman is and isn't, his strengths and weaknesses, what makes him alien but also makes him human, is in that line.
Yes.
Honestly, when
I
I was
agree.
a kid, my favorite scenes were probably your favorite scenes as a kid. The flying stuff, the epic destruction, the funny lines, action, adventure, all that stuff. But as an adult, these moments of Clark quietly thinking over who he is after his father's passing is amazing to me. It is so simple, yet so grand and epic, and it's paced and shot that way. The death of one person who is cherished and loved is just as huge and important as the death of an entire civilization.
Mother.
I know, son. I know.
The perfect word I can use to describe it is Americana. Not cancel whatever you want here. Oh, sorry, boycott again. Just so different. But simple truths leading to complex emotions. Small words leading to big ideas. Humble beginnings leading to extraordinary futures. Like I said, there's a reason this is the blueprint for a lot of superhero movies. One night, though, Clark hears something calling to him under the barn.
Yep.
Huh, so that's why the cows have 6 eyes. Clark takes this as a calling and tells his mother he has to go away and find his destiny.
Do you know where you're headed?
North.
Clark, I told you Santa isn't real. You'll never find him. He makes his way to the Antarctic where he tosses the green rod into the snow. I'm always legit impressed whenever I see how legit alien anything Kryptonian looks. Like, you've seen giant monsters and weird environments that are done so much they can kind of be from any sci-fi.
Yeah.
But this is so distinct and original, it truly does feel otherworldly.
Oh, yeah.
Uses the Kryptonian technology to summon sort of a living recording of his father. Again, kind of an advanced idea for something like this.
So, my son, speak.
If a bad guy came in here and pretended to be me, would you fall for it? Oh my god, yes. Remember, we're a species that let our planet blow up. We're not very good at crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
Who am I?
Your name is Kal-El.
Years pass as Jor-El tells Clark about who he is. Again, moments like this I found really boring as a kid, but I also knew they were important. Almost like being put in a meditative state and coming out stronger. It establishes an atmosphere of patience and growing, which is what's required for the character. Which Clark certainly does. We finally get our first shot of Superman in the suit flying triumphantly through the air. And then you're stuck with his nerdy identity for 20 minutes.
Ken, can you open this? Oh, sure.
Well,
In any other movie, I'd be really pissed off. But A, that is really funny when you think about it. All this build-up, there he is, here we go, and then this for dozens of minutes. And B, we finally get some levity.
Any more at home like you?
Not really, no.
Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent is just as equally good as his Superman.
Yep.
He is 100% believable, awkward, and funny. Everyone knows the glasses don't hide that much and how tall and built he is. Come on, you can clearly tell this is Superman, but with his acting being that good, I actually can believe nobody would put this together.
I guess I must have fainted.
Fainted? You fainted?
Sorry.
His subtle change in voice reminds me a lot of Kevin Conroy's subtle change of voice with Bruce Wayne and Batman. Neither sounds like a fake voice, it's just the tiniest little tweaks, yet they sound like entirely different people.
and what say on
Something I have to
the
tell you.
animated Superman?
I'm really... I was, at first, really nervous about tonight.
Margot Kidder's Lois Lane is equally entertaining,
Yep.
especially when you wonder, what the hell is she writing about?
Sex maniac profile.
Making sense of senseless killing. Here's that story in East Side murder case.
Wow, Superman clearly isn't on the clock yet.
There's no Z in Brazil.
How do you spell massacre?
There's only one P in rapist.
I kind of love the Superman movie to use that word as the PG-1 not directed by Snyder. That's another reason why they can hold off showing Superman a bit more, because the film's very good at showing why the city needs Superman, but also why Superman needs the city. Clark is very much a farm boy. He has simple values and an old-fashioned way of thinking.
Perhaps you could arrange for half my salary to be sent to this
He
address.
sends a check every week to his sweet gray-haired old mother.
Actually, she's silver-haired.
Lois is very much from the city. She has complex ideas and is also interested in always moving forward.
There are very few people left in the world who feel comfortable saying that word.
What word?
Swell.
Oh, sounds kind of natural.
And what makes it so great is that they make it very clear neither one is better than the other. They both demonstrate pros and cons, and while Lois and Clark are very different, they do get along and help each other out.
Yep.
Just like how Superman's very simple yet optimistic demeanor will balance out the city's advanced yet also complicated environment. Superman and the city offset each other perfectly, the same way Lois and Clark offset each other perfectly. Also, hi, Richard Donner. Yeah, I also think the extra time is worth it for that blooper. When a helicopter crashes, Clark finally makes his first appearance as Supes, changing in the classic way. Changing in this weird-ass way.
Wait,
Well,
who are you?
I'm Batman. Somebody has to talk to Wardrobe.
really, Doug? I mean, it is funny,
Did you know
so...
that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you still have an IRA?
Okay, yeah. Sponsor. Okay. One thing I'll say, because about the young actor who played young Clark Kent, I'm not sure if Doug noticed this, I mean, with what he said, because he was dubbed by Christopher Reeve. As I said, that was Christopher Reeve's actual voice dubbing over what's-him-face, who played, young Superman / Clark Kent. That was like, and fun fact, because I'm trying to think how I'm going to say this. Richard Donner and Christopher Reeve, they went to the actor who played young Clark Kent. They went up to him, and this was at the press, I guess, like the wrap-up party or whatever. I think, yeah, when the movie premiered. Richard and Christopher, they went up to him and they apologized because originally, he was not to have, his voice was not to be dubbed over by Christopher Reeve, but it of course did happen because the studio was worried that he didn't really sound like Christopher Reeve, and thus they had Christopher Reeve dub over him. So yeah, if some of you did know about that. And there actually were some similar things that happened where, someone was dubbed over. Like, I can think of, say, the Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz. They were all dubbed by the Disney voice guys. And, oh gosh, what's his face? I follow him on YouTube. He was the puppeteer / performer of Slappy in the Goosebumps films. And most notably, the Goosebumps film that came out in 2015. Yeah, with, of course, with Jack Black. At first, it was going to be his voice, and even Jack Black insisted that it should be his voice. But eventually, they had Jack Black, be the voice of Slappy officially. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, so I thought I'd mention that. And so far, what Doug has said about this movie, yeah, very well said, especially the emotion. And how, yes, because, aside from, the awesome stuff from the action stuff and the flying scenes and Superman taking on, crooks and such, those scenes where, there's a lot of emotion and Clark trying to figure out who he is and his, what his destiny is, yeah, they're very good too. So, the performances of, the late Christopher Reeve and Margaret Kidder, fantastic. And it's amazing because how, especially for Christopher Reeve, changing his voice, from Superman to Clark, and that was pretty funny because, I don't know, technically should have seen that coming, with him saying, "I'm Batman." I mean, clearly he said, "I'm Superman." So, anyways, all right, enough said. Let's get back to it.
Supes makes the round, stopping all sorts of crimes and saving all sorts of kitties. Because of course there's a scene like that in this.
Haven't I told you not tell lies?
Jesus, you saved the cat, yet you overlooked the child abuse going on inside. The proper party was saved. He even
Hi,
saved
Doug's
Air
cat.
Force One.
I think the mom will owe her daughter an apology.
Makes planes fly anyway. Do I even need to say why Reeve is the best Superman? On top of being a pitch-perfect Clark Kent, he has both the reassuring smile that everything's gonna be okay and the intimidating stare that says nothing will stand in his way until things are okay.
Yep.
Even in an outfit as silly as that.
Otis, take the gentleman's cape.
It's not supposed to be silly looking. The
He's
suit.
an authority figure you actually do want to give your authority to because he's earned your trust on every level.
Miraculous saving.
We've had reports of burglars being apprehended.
Fox News says illegal immigrants stealing jobs from always innocent cops. NBC says Superman's color's not gay enough. This leads us to our villain Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, with his bumbling sidekicks Otis, played by Ned Beatty,
Yep.
and this Tashmaka, played by Valerie Perrine.
How do you choose to congratulate the greatest criminal mind of our time?
Try twist it.
He shouted his name and you said the
Luthor's
actress's
kinda like Tim
name.
Burton's Catwoman, not comic accurate, but still a lot of fun. I do prefer the more menacing takes we've had in other versions, but his egocentric does get a lot of laughs, and when he needs to, he can come across as very menacing.
Yeah,
Is that how a warped brain
it works
kicks
because
flying
Gene
at
Hackman
innocent
nailed
people,
it.
By causing the death of innocent people.
I have no doubt he meant that. But yes, it is lame that he's not bald, and all because Hackman just didn't want to do it. How Richard Donner had to actually convince him for months just to shave his mustache. This guy's like the
Really?
anti-method acting. Instead of working around a role, he has the role work around him. But as I mentioned, all the acting in this is pretty good, including the chemistry between Reeve and Kidder.
Has he got a family?
Of course.
Oh my god, a super dick pic! So they don't circumcise on Krypton. No, it's an invite to meet up with Superman, as Lois wears what I'm sure she wears to every interview. Must have gone to the O'Neill School of Journalism. And they flirt like children on a first date.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't, but if I did, Miss Lane, you'd be the first to know about it.
Ooh.
See through anything.
Yes, I can.
What color underwear am I wearing?
Yeah, something I never noticed till this time around. This movie's really horny.
Pink.
You know, for kids.
Chest massage, mouth to mouth. I won't have one of my men doing anything I wouldn't be prepared to do myself.
Do you like pink?
I like pink very much.
What was that from?
I guess it is a movie about a good-looking guy flying around in tights, but man, sometimes these movies make the Schumacher films look subtle.
Why did you kiss me first?
I didn't think you'd let me later. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
I sort of have a problem seeing through lead.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can't see that coming back to bite you in the ass later. Tell me, what's your kryptonite? Oh yeah, it's kryptonite.
Ready?
Yeah.
Clark
No, I'm not.
said that you're just a...
Oh, yeah. Not Clark Kent, by the way. He takes her flying in a scene that's very romantic and also very aerodynamically impossible. And it's a very nice, lovely moment. Until that poem.
Can you read my mind? I don't know who you are. Just a friend from another star.
I know so many people who absolutely love this scene until it gets to the dumb poem.
Here I am, like a kid out of school.
Well,
I'm a fool.
Oh. Now, to her credit, about half of Lois's lines are pretty lame.
Do you eat?
What?
maybe
Performance often does
I can think
make
of a good
them work,
reason.
and she is trying as hard as she can to make this poem work. Sometimes it's passable, other times
You can see right through me. Can you read my mind?
it's a poem. What's a poem doing here? Believe it or not, it could be worse. She was originally supposed to sing this. Yep, the lyrics actually match up perfect with Williams' theme. Maureen McGovern even did a cover of it. On second thought, maybe the poem's not sounding that bad.
At least it wasn't singing in the final film.
Wow, the only poem going on in Clark's head is, there once was a reporter from Nantucket.
You okay?
Uh-huh.
He drops her off, and she finally thinks of an appropriate name.
Superman. Superman.
I'll call him Black Panther. Lex Luthor, maybe while putting together too quickly that kryptonite can kill him,
But this stuff here will kill him.
puts together a scheme to not only acquire some kryptonite, but also rewire some missiles for his diabolical scheme. And like I said,
Okay, it is in
it's
the
pretty
film.
horny. That dead woman's hot. Her underwear's pink. I like pink very much. This is a romantic conversation we're having here. Otis screws up, though, and their first attempt doesn't work, so...
All right, get it right.
Okay, when did this turn into a Merry Melodies cartoon? Does Luthor just have a Bugs Bunny dress ready to put on and say, "Oh, howdy, boys"?
That's funny.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs.
Nice reference to the birdcage.
And that's you.
Luthor makes a call to Clark on a frequency only he can hear, so Superman
What?
makes his way to his hideout.
Eh.
It's open. Come in.
Luther talks about his scheme to have one missile blow up California so he can sell real estate and another missile blow up somewhere else so Superman can't stop both.
This is California.
Don't need a geography lesson from you.
Where was I?
California.
California, right.
This leads to probably my favorite joke when Otis tries to sneak in a little bit of property for himself.
Marina Del
Oh yeah, and this, because
Otisburg.
what Nostalgia Critic brought up in his review of Superman Returns.
I'd visit Otisburg. I hear the pig's quite good. The missiles are launched as they figure out too late they've been rigged. Though it's really not
Clearly
surprising
that was actually him laughing, Doug.
They have the new B-20 low-level avoidance systems.
My next president has to be...
I was wondering, yeah, that is John Ratzenberger.
Superman, of
I
course,
forgot he was
discovers
in
the
this.
kryptonite, and he questions if Luthor even cares where the other missile is going.
I know exactly where he's headed. Hackensack, New Jersey.
That's not bad. I can drive. Tessa Smucker reveals her mother lives in Hackensack, so she frees Superman as long as he agrees to save her first.
But you can't just stand there and let millions of innocent people die.
Maybe.
Ooh, the Pa Kent approach.
Just let him die.
Maybe.
Okay, I said I would lay out those jokes, but these two should not be so close on the same plane.
Yeah.
You will sometimes believe a man can fly. Okay, for every
At
funny
the-
effect, there's a damn good effect, too. A lot of these moments
At the
are
time,
really well
some of those
done
shots were
and
good.
actually kind of damn
They were awesome.
intense. Well, most of them. Better than my chiropractor. Lois is caught in the middle of it all, though, as this earthquake clearly has it out for her. But really, once it gets to her car, it stops right in its tracks. I guess God's not a fan of bad punctuation either.
I knew I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
What, that's supposed to be Bugs Bunny causing that.
So yeah, this is pretty much a horror film now. For all the corniness this movie has, when it wants to get dramatic, it doesn't hold back. All the little kids in the audience get to watch Lois slowly and horrifically die.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
And Superman's
There you go.
reaction matches that intensity. No, really, it's easy to believe the guy who wrote Godfather wrote this because, man, it just wants you to sit with this death scene.
And him just, like...
Reeve plays it as serious as if this was a documentary. Like, it's some of the most chilling acting I've ever seen around a death sequence. Silly tights and all.
And this.
No part of this is half effort. He is committed to convincing
and when
you
he
he just
launches
lost the most
up, you know.
important person on the planet to him.
That. Just so good.
And then it gets dumb. Yeah, y'all know what's coming. Easily the worst part of the movie. Superman spins the Earth
Lay it on
inwards
us.
and causes time to move backwards. There's a million reasons why this doesn't work.
You talked about this in your top 11
because it would interrupt in human affairs.
list.
Oh, what, he hasn't already? And what, he couldn't do this a million times before then? In fact, is that really a good ethical code? All those powers that I couldn't save him. Oh wait, I can now? Like what, so he doesn't have to live with his humanity? But okay, let's say the death of Lois was what gave him the extra adrenaline to do this trick. Like it's a one-time thing. Did he stop the extra missile? The gas station still blew up and he saved Jimmy from the dam, but the earthquake didn't happen? And let's say he did. Is there just another Superman flying around that stopped that missile? What happens to him?
Yeah.
Does he just go up to him and act like, who are you? Oh, I'm you from a timeline where Lois dies. Oh, is she okay? Well, she is now. Well, what happens to me? Well, you die. There can be only one.
It just don't add up.
Any way you cut it, there's something that doesn't make sense. But like I said, the rest of this movie is still so good, it doesn't hurt it.
Yeah.
It gets right back to being likable as hell.
Poor Clark. Never around when... Clark? Wait a minute.
I think Perry White is Wonder Woman. Superman drops off Lex Luthor, shows they could have done a pretty convincing bald cap, so just makes the wigs even more pointless. I just want to see people who look like me on the big screen. Superman flies into space.
I saw a clip of that.
Throughout the galaxy's alignment, and will probably crash into Mercury one day because of it. But I don't care. This film's still phenomenal.
Yep.
Yes, there's a couple things that don't work, but not only are they very few, but the stuff that does work set the bar for all future superhero movies. At a time where there really wasn't much of a precedent for this sort of thing, this film really decided to give a lot of drama, a lot of heart, and a lot of dignity while still keeping true to its playful silliness.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how well this film accomplishes being both light and upbeat, but also heavy and epic at the same time. It's one of the best superhero movies ever made, and if it isn't your all-time favorite, I can assure you, it definitely inspired your all-time favorite.
Certainly, yep.
I'm a nostalgia critic, and Super Month has just begun!
Super Month, able to bitch about the tiniest things any normal person wouldn't care about.
Stop! We're done.
Yeah. You made him mad, Tamara. Just you. Why'd you do it?
Otisburg?
All right.
Continuing cameos for...
All right, and the charity shout-out, as always. Okay, so that was the Nostalgia Critic's review of the first Superman film, or as it's also called, Superman the Movie. Again, like, you can let me know if it's officially called Superman the Movie. But yeah, what the Nostalgia Critic had to say about the first Superman film, pretty well said. And yeah, because, you know, with the first film, there are some stuff to it that, you know, is kind of what and kind of dumb. Like, yeah, most notably, spinning the Earth backwards, because as I mentioned, Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, years back, you know, a oldie Nostalgia Critic video, and back, you know, when he had the yellow background and, you know, the camera quality and such, he did a top 11 list of the dumbest moments in the Superman films, and at number 1, it was the whole spinning the Earth backwards thing, and he went into good detail on that, and as he said in his review of the Superman film, and, you know, he quickly gave the examples, so, but I mean, you know, the whole spinning the Earth backwards thing, I mean, that's how I'm calling it. I know that's what he called it when it was number 1 in his top 11 list. I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, if they could have, it could have been a heck of a lot better and well explained, you know, but, you know, I guess that whole thing with, you know, Superman spinning the Earth and, you know, fixing time, changing time and saving Lois, you know, it was just bad luck, you know. I'm sure they did their best, and that also goes for Richard Donner. So, but, you know, hey, as I pointed out, like, and as Doug pointed out, Christopher Reeve's performance when, you know, he's carrying Lois's dead body and just the emotion you see in his face and just him just shooting out into the sky, you know, and just him screaming, that is so good. So good. And again, just the performances, that especially goes for Christopher Reeve, fantastic. You know, this movie does well with its funny moments, but also the emotional moments, for sure. And as Doug talked about, especially, you know, when Clark's human father unexpectedly died, you know? So, I tell you. And yeah, some jokes that Doug Walker threw out, you know, I'm Batman, and some audio clips, you know, like most notably Bugs Bunny. I knew I should have taken that left turn in Albuquerque. That was good. Made sense. And yeah, the whole thing of, speaking of Bugs Bunny, that whole thing of Lex Luthor, you know, changing outfits, and that was nice, a reference to the birdcage. That was good. And yeah, that makes sense. Like, imagine if Lex Luthor dressed as a woman, like what Bugs Bunny did. And yeah, I did not know that, because some fun facts that Doug talked about, as he usually does in the Nostalgia Critic videos, because yeah, I did not know that Gene Hackman didn't want to shave his head. But I think for these Superman films, and with what Gene Hackman brought to Lex Luthor, sometimes we see Lex Luthor with hair. I think it works. But, you know, at times we would see Lex Luthor bald, you know, Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. And that, what's-him-face, Lex Luthor's sidekick, convincing him to shave off his mustache, which I did not know that, because I guess that was apparently that was another thing that Gene Hackman didn't want to do, but because he was convinced, he did. And can you imagine us seeing Lex Luthor with a mustache? Maybe it could work, depending on who's playing Lex Luthor. Maybe it would have worked with Gene Hackman, but in the final film, and with, you know, what Gene Hackman brought to Lex Luthor, him not having a mustache worked, and yeah, probably for the best. But at least, you know, with him having hair, it managed to work. It you know, at least in my opinion. I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. So, if you guys think so too. Um, and I'm thinking, and jumping back to something that was brought up very early on in this review, with General Zod, Terrence Stamp's performance and him shouting at Jor-El, "You will bow down before me." I always thought that too, that it sounded like he said, "Your ass," but probably not. I don't think so. I think I did check to see what he said, and it was not ass, okay? But it does sound like it. So, but yeah, what else? What else is there? Yeah, I mean, just other things that he said, like, yeah, that poem. I don't know. I mean, I can think of a good reason on that, and especially with the character of Lois Lane and what's going on through her head and so on. And, well, this is the first time that she's talking with Superman, so... And I forgot about that. The fact that apparently Lois was the one who came up with the name Superman. Like, did Clark not think of what name he should go by? I'm just saying, because, but, yeah, overall, what the Nostalgia Critic said about the first Superman film, well said, from the good stuff to some stuff in the film, just, even like, that one part where, he's still in his, in his outfit at the Daily Planet when he jumps out of the window, and then it just out of nowhere transitions from that to his Superman costume, his suit, I should say. Well, it happened in the movie, so what can you do? So, but again, as I said, what the Nostalgia Critic said on the first Superman film, well said, and again, the good stuff to the stuff, yeah. So, what about you guys? What did you think of the Nostalgia Critic's review of Superman, the video itself, what he had to say, and if you agree, too, with some of the dumb stuff, again, most notably the spinning the Earth backwards thing. I have no doubt about that. And what I, too, had to say on the first Superman film, and what did you think of my reaction? Leave comments and give this reaction video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of the first Superman film from 1978. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / reaction. And yeah, the next Nostalgia Critic video I'll be reacting to will most likely be his review on Superman 2. And boy, because I have no doubt, what Doug is going to say on Superman 2 with, the fun facts about, the making of Superman 2, Richard Donner's firing, which I'm also gonna talk about as well, so yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to see what he has to say on Superman 2. Obviously, he's gonna, review Superman 2, its theatrical release. So yeah. Alright, take care, and peace out.